if you've got an air system, is with an adjustable valving shock. So what we can do with the double adjust shock is we can control our compression valving. We can soften just the compression side of that shock to add some compliance there. So even though we've got that heavier spring, we can soften the shock, make it a smoother ride. And then the other side of the double adjust shock would be the rebound valving. And for that, what we're going to do is utilize that rebound valving to firm up how much force it takes to extend that shock apart, so we can see a big handling improvement when we've got firmer rebound valving. We'll get less body roll, less sway in the corners, while also having a softer compression valving and a better ride.
So I know sometimes a vehicle on bags, on air, it's going to have kind of a floaty ride.
Yep.
And is the rebound valving going to help with that?
Yeah, definitely. You can use the rebound and sometimes the compression valving too to find that sweet spot and get a more, dampen that spring and control that.
So more of a controlled ride, smooth it out.
Exactly correct.
So get rid of that floaty feeling.
Yep.
Okay. Well, most air suspensions are going to be a custom application.
Right.
So we don't necessarily have an off-the-shelf shock that's going to fit anymore because it is now a custom suspension. With someone doing a custom setup like that, how do we get a shock matched up, and how do we figure that out for their vehicle?
Yeah, what you'd want to do is get the bags in place and, fully air them out, lower it as if you'd want to see it, aired out at a show, for instance. Mm-hmm. And at that point, what you'd want to measure is your shock mounting point from shock mount to shock mount. And you may have a stud style configuration or a T-bar or an eyelet. We've got all sorts of various mounting styles you need, but the main thing here would be to measure from shock mount to shock mount at that fully aired out point, and then we'll also want to raise the vehicle up to its ride height point and take that measurement as well.
Okay, so when you say ride height, that's the height that the car is going to be driving down the road.
Yep, exactly.
So not fully extended suspension hanging like it's on a hoist.
It's a good idea to have that as a reference point, to make sure we aren't topping the shock out at all during driving. So yeah, I would ideally find a shock that's going to have a little bit more compression travel than when we're fully aired out.
So we're not holding the car up.
Exactly. We don't want to air it down and have that shock limit travel at all.
Sure.
And then also, if we let the suspension fully droop down and hang, in a perfect world, we'll have a little bit more shock travel than that measurement as well.
Okay. So now once we get those measurements, what do we do with them?
Yeah, I'd consult either the QA1 catalog at that point or our website in our tech section, or in any of our shock listings. We have a dimensional guide as well of the fully extended and fully compressed lengths of each shocks. And of course, too, if you've got any questions on that, you can call our tech line and consult with us as well.